Hello, champions, and good day. Welcome to The Resistance. It's the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Another podcast showing you the way to the promised land is forthcoming. So get comfortable and enjoy the show. Take it away, gentlemen.
Just right into it. And welcome one, welcome all to the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Glad to be with you today.
Yeah. Hey, we're back. It's the first show of a brand new year that I feel nothing but optimism over.
Is that true? I don't know if I believe that, dude. Conversing with you over the last couple of days, like it hasn't been the best.
That's supposed to be theater of the mind. You're not supposed to let anyone in on it. No, this year's off to a pretty terrible start, quite frankly. So I'm just assuming it'll only get better, not only get worse.
That's the optimistic view I like to see from you, Steven. You know what? It's early. The year's a puppy, as we say here on the program, and a lot of year left, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
I just got more depressed when you said that. There's a lot of year left. So here we go, everybody.
It's supposed to be all about perspective, right? Your perspective can change the world, is what they say.
Really? Like, if I say, gee, I hope these flights we're about to go on aren't delayed. It's like, oh, now they're going to get delayed. Like, how come it never works the other way? Or if I say, like, gee, I've never found a bag full of money before. Like, oh, now you're going to find a bag full of money. It's only the Nick.
That's interesting, dude. There's something to that. I have no idea what it is other than we're just fooling ourselves, with optimism. They say it changes your life if you can be more optimistic, and I think gratitude is something we should all practice as we lead into this new year, and that can be tough sometimes.
I occasionally get accused of having a giant ego. Now,
yeah.
Wouldn't there be nothing more egocentric than assuming my words can affect the universe?
I don't know. I think that's, I don't know, dude. I think that's a positive thing. Unless you're a dictator, unless you're Hitler, if you're a good person, I think it's not egocentric. Morally, you are not misguided. For the most part, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yes. Depends what category you're talking about. There's
right.
some deviant behavior going on, but everyone seems to enjoy it that I do it with, so.
Yeah, these are all thoughts that are highlighted in our minds as we roll into a new year, leave the old one behind, see what was good, what was bad, what needs change. So, yeah, I think a lot of people are minds racing. I made no resolutions this year because you convinced me they're garbage, basically. I blame it on you.
No, resolutions are garbage. Doing it at New Year, I don't know if it's garbage. It just sets yourself up to fail. Because everyone has this backdoor how to wiggle out of New Year's resolutions because everyone else does it. So if you don't resolve to, get in shape or whatever, that's fine. But just, do it February 1st then.
Okay, so just the timing of it is what bothers you.
Yeah, it's just an arbitrary goal, and it's set up to fail because almost every New Year's resolution is abandoned very quickly, quite frankly.
I was reading a magazine last night. Rachel and I were sitting around, and I came across this little section of it. It was like the 10 most popular resolutions, that people make as we roll into the new year. Mm. So I was like, listen to this list, see if you hear anything that's crazy. And all 10 of them were like, lose weight, try and become more financially responsible, get more healthy, stay off my device more, spend more time with loved ones. They're all shit that we do every single year.
Yeah, well, what's your problem then? Shouldn't they all be resolved?
Yeah, well, they should be resolved, dude, but we get better and better. But I want to see people making resolutions that aren't so commonplace, and myself included. How do I make a resolution that everyone and their brother's not making?
I resolved to climb Mount Everest this year or learn to levitate or, I don't know.
Hopefully it would be doable, but I don't know. I hope I play the flute this year. Something that's doable. But
I was going to say, statistically speaking, I'm as likely to scale Everest as the average person is to lose weight this year, based on a pure resolution. So,
boy, that worries me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like most people abandon ship on it. I used to work with a gym in town that they said that it is part of their business model that every January they get this spike in memberships and they know that by February, March, 90% of those people will never show up at the gym again.
Yeah, that's a sad truth. Yeah, and maybe you're right. Maybe it's about the date. You think to yourself, oh, everybody else is going to give up. It's not that big of a deal. I tried, that type of thing. And if you make it in February, March, whatever, maybe it's you feel more accountable. Maybe. Is that what you think?
Yeah, I just think there's less pressure and less wiggle room to get out of it. And also, by the way, coming out of the holidays, like, I feel overweight right now. I feel run down, lethargic. Like, I don't know that this is time to be making some major proclamation that things are going to change. I'm overweight. I'm tired. I don't want to go back to work. But let me decide I'm going to change my whole life right now,
Yeah. No, that's probably pretty true. But, hey, look, we're not trying to put down anyone who's trying to better themselves, are we?
I don't know if I'm trying to put you down. I'm just trying to let you off the hook a little, or just tell you to readjust. Okay, that's all.
You started the new year off right by tuning into the podcast. We're the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve, and you can contact us on our webpage and see our socials.
Yeah, you can. What are those things again? I haven't been on there in a while. We've got TikTok, we got Reddit, we got YouTube, Instagram, Threads, probably some other ones too.
Yeah, Blue Sky, dude. You always forget to promote Blue Sky.
I do. That is a brand new thing to the world in general, but for us too. So yeah, and Blue Sky is a good one. Bunch of good, like-minded liberals out there.
People call this podcast and leave comments, and you can do it too. 844-48-VOCAL. Use your telephone as a microphone and get vocal with the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Yeah. I don't know. Mark this on the calendar, I guess, because I would like to listen back to the show in 6 months, because we're still in this blissful little window right now. It's early January. Trump hasn't taken over yet, so we still have a little window here of sanity, but it's all starting to unravel. But yeah, this may be the last little moment of 2025 that's worth being in. And like I said, it's already off to a miserable start. I literally started off New Year's Day with a fever, sick, traveled home sick, upset stomach. I got problems with my kids. I got problems with work. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but this year is not off to a great start.
It's just life, dude. I mean, this shit happens all the time, and sometimes we get to coast downhill for a while, but this is reoccurring. You know, that's the bullshit of life, is that in order to have the good times, you have to have the bad, you know? I wish, why can't it all be good? People say, well, you wouldn't appreciate it then. Yes, I would. I think I could do that.
Yeah, I think at this stage of life I could. But can it all really be good? Wouldn't it just be shades of good then? Because if everything's good, then there's no metric there.
Yeah. See, you're one of those people that is putting it down. I want everything to just be good. If we do it from here forward, we know what good is like. We know what bad is like. So.
All right, fair enough. Well, yeah, I don't know. Off to a new year, so I don't know. I got some news.
Yeah, speaking of bad, let's just jump right into the news.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Hi, Stephen. This is Clem Fandango. Can you hear me?
Clem, I can fucking hear you, okay?
Just want you to do a mic check, dude. Come on.
Hello, mic check 1 2. I think what I'm doing is an opposite resolution. I'm blaming everything on 2025 already instead of using it for motivation to do better.
So you go into this year, dude, with your odds and evens thing, and now that this is an odd year, that's what Steve doesn't like. So, yeah, 2024 was supposed to be great, and now we're into 2025, and they're both bullshit, dude?
No. I mean, first of all, 2024 was a good year. The number thing did pan out. I mean, all in all, I know we lost an election, but besides that, but no, this year's not off to a great start. At 5 is the best of the odds, so I still have some optimism there. I'm not giving up on everything yet.
All right.
However, why don't we start off with, I think, is good news? I at least find it funny if it's not good news, but
I'll be the judge.
Grandpa Joe Biden is on his way out of the White House. He's got, 2 or 3 weeks left here.
No, he did a good job, dude. I don't know why people are clapping for that.
I thought we were applauding at his legacy that he's leaving.
Oh, yes.
And I will say, on recording date today, it's January 6th, and we just certified the votes for Trump, and no one rioted. I don't know why the left. I thought we would all show up and, storm the Capitol, but apparently we don't do that.
Went off without a hitch, huh?
Yeah, like it's supposed to. So kudos, everyone. The left did not riot. But on the way out the door here, Biden has done something kind of humorous. Biden has used a 72-year-old law to give Trump a big old slap in the face before he takes over for round 2.
Tell me more.
I will. President Joe Biden is taking action to protect 625 million acres of offshore areas from future oil and gas drilling, the White House announced today. This is a move that could frustrate Mr. Trump coming on in. Biden is invoking a 1953 Outer Continental Shelf Land Act, the OCSLA, as I'm sure you know,
Of course.
to prevent any new fossil fuel developments off the east and west coast of the United States, as well as in the eastern Gulf of Mexico and Alaska's North Bering Sea.
So drill, baby, drill is going to be harder.
It's going to be harder, yes. Impossible? I don't know. The law gives any president the power to permanently withdraw parts of the Outer Continental Shelf from future oil and gas leases, but doesn't include a provision for how another president could revoke such an order. So this law back in the, what did I say, the 50s? Was put in place where a president gets to just take it off the shelf. And that's what the law states. So if Trump were to want to undo this, which he probably will want to, Congress would have to redo the entire law and start over, which is not impossible, obviously, since they're in control, but it would be a big pain in the butt. And you might think there's going to be maybe one congressman from one of these areas that may say, no, I don't want drilling off of my coast. So,
right. Yeah, so there's a chance maybe they won't reinstate. Here's the thing, dude. He wants to drill, baby, drill. I get that. But we're leaving a 4-year period of time where we've been producing more oil than ever in history, and more than anyone in the world we're producing more oil.
Correct. So on one level, Trump could probably just say, yeah, hey, look, but production's booming. I did it. Day one. What do you know?
Right.
It's all a perception thing. The whole drill, baby, drill thing was just a good slogan and to get his base fired up. And there's this whole perception that, libs have stopped all pipelines and all production. The facts don't support that whatsoever, but the facts really matter to Team MAGA.
No, we've learned that time and time again. What are gas prices in your area right now?
Well, I'm in a cheap area, and we're just over $3 a gallon. I want to say $3.15 a gallon right now.
Okay, we're still sitting pretty here in Seattle at $3.79 a gallon is the cheapest gas. I see it for $4.79, but you can get it at $3.79. My brother in Omaha is paying $2.20, $2.30.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
I mean, I was just in Michigan for the holidays. It was at just over $3, but somebody mentioned that it had dipped under $3 for a little period there. So this is one of the things that annoys me. Maybe we could solve this problem. Why? Why the hell? If I drive 30 minutes up the mountain, gas is an extra $1 something. I mean, up at Tahoe, gas is over $4 a gallon. $3 down here, under $3 in Omaha. Like, is that because no one wants to be in Omaha? They try to entice them with cheap gas.
I don't think so.
You want to go to Tahoe, you're paying the gas,
But I think that's part of it, like a land tax or real estate tax. We have high taxes on our gas, so part of that is our taxes. But also, if you think about, like, you're talking about Lake Tahoe. If you go to Hawaii, just shit's more expensive over there because it costs more to get it there.
Well,
and maybe they're using that in Tahoe. It's harder to get in this little town. Got to climb this big mountain.
Hawaii's always made sense. And by the way, our prices have always been relatively comparable with Hawaii. That's our metric over here. And, you got to take a frickin' boat to get to Hawaii. Across the big old ocean is what I understand. Haven't been there, but so that makes a little more sense. But you're telling me this 30-minute commute up the mountain in the middle of summer, that makes some epic difference? And I know states have taxes, blah, blah, blah. Up there, gas is the same on Nevada and California side of the lake.
No, it's frustrating to see that when my brother talks about his low gas prices. I'm like, first of all, don't think that your gas prices are this because Trump is getting, put into office. People forget over and over again that, the presidents don't control gas prices, first of all.
What?
I mean, they can manipulate things that'll hopefully bring them down or bring them up, but you can't control gas prices.
I always loved that notion. Then why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't every president have 10 cents a gallon of gas?
Right.
And why is Omaha so much cheaper? Are they downhill, everything? Just why is it so much easier to get there? I don't follow, but
yeah, I don't get it either. I'm maybe closer to, the refinery or something. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I highly doubt that. But, okay, did your brother thank Joe then? Thanks, Biden. Gas is under $3 a gallon.
Yeah, I don't think he thanked anybody. I think he was just acknowledging, he's coming to town he's coming next week, and this will be the first time since Trump was elected. And as people on this show know, that he was a former fan of Trump, and I still don't know that he hates him. I think he hates him as a person, but loves his policies. But we're going to be discussing, and we haven't hardly discussed at all intentionally. So we'll see how it goes.
And is your wife going to murder your brother on this trip?
There's been talk of it, dude. I mean, from my brother, my brother comes in on the 20th. I was like, oh, you're here on election day. And he was like, we should have a party, invite Rachel. And just kidding, and Rachel's been like, yeah, we're just not going to talk about it. We're not. And I hope that's the case. So,
yeah. I know you meant Inauguration Day. I wish it was election day. We could repeat this and do it better this time. But yeah, here's I will make a prediction. I bet that Trump gets fewer people at this inauguration than he did at his first one, which was smaller than most, and that he's been trying to compensate for ever since. I mean,
you and I talked briefly about the fact that he's having a huge rally that you'll never forget on the 19th, so the day before, and you said it. I mean, I was like, why would he do that? You're like, oh, so he can make his crowd size bigger for the inauguration. I think you're right.
Oh, that means everything to him. It always has. That was famously the first lie the Trump administration told. On Inauguration Day, Sean Spicer came out there and was like, biggest crowd in the history of the universe. And everyone's like, we can visually see that it is not. And they just persisted. And Trump has never relented on that he had this epic crowd. So he wants to, but A, most of his supporters can't afford to travel, and B, why? What's the motivation? I mean, seriously, you won. Who cares? Why would they show up? For a riot, they'll show up for. I get that.
If there's a plan of action that they could change something that was unjust or unfair, then maybe they'd show up. But you're right. They're not going to show up they'll be that small group. We'll see what it is. You mentioned Sean Spicer, and I thought to myself, in this presidency, will we see him go through speakers so quickly? Speakers to the press. I mean, Sean Spicer is a flash in the pan.
Yeah, I mean, he famously went through press secretary after press secretary. I don't know. I don't think he's going to have as much turnover this time because everyone knows what they're getting. Anyone who's going to want to work for him is going to want to be complicit and be his little lapdog and all that stuff. The first administration, the mistake he made, quote unquote, the first year or two, he was trying to hire, regular people, normal politicians or people, and that all just backfired repeatedly. So now, though, he's just hiring sycophants. So I think I'll have less turnover if that's any sort of admirable thing.
Think about it, dude. He had, just to name two, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I mean, she was kind of that lapdog, and she didn't last. And Kellyanne Conway was the same.
Yeah.
Who did he end with? Who was the last Speaker of the House?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, seriously, he had so many press secretaries and every other position there was. Attorney generals. I mean, how many of those did he go through? The bar's been set so low that I don't know if it matters.
Yeah. What's the position called?
Press secretary?
Press secretary. Yeah. I keep calling it Speaker of the House. I don't know why.
You may go through a few of those too, though.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that more in upcoming news.
Oh, hey, real quick, though. Speaking of this whole January 19th party, any liberals, I'm seeing this on TikTok, and I know some things just trend, but stop with the 14th Amendment, okay? Just stop. Everyone is just kidding themselves yet again.
Yes, it's not going to happen. I mean, we saw the certification today, right, on recording day. So, yeah, just stop it, dude.
Yeah, the whole 14th Amendment, like if you took part in an insurrection, you're not allowed to serve again. First of all, the Supreme Court already weighed in on that back during the election when Colorado tried to kick him off the ballot. So they're not going to go back on that. And, yeah, the votes have now been certified. Like, it was never going to happen, period. So, just stop with it already, okay?
Yeah. We need to move forward and see what this shit show has to offer.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know. Start the news chant, please. Come on.
News. Where's Nick?
I'm ready to go with this news update. Let's talk a little bit about Don Lemon. Don Lemon famously used to work for CNN he's worked for different networks, but CNN was his last, and he worked there for years. Don Lemon's kind of controversial as too left-wing, too liberal. He said some things that people didn't like, and he got fired from CNN. I don't even remember exactly why.
I don't either, off the top of my head. So, yeah.
Yeah, but it was for something that he said that people didn't like. He was canceled. Don Lemon was canceled. He left CNN. And no one that I can see, I know he works for the company that X owns. I think he works for Elon Musk, which is the only reason he got that interview with Elon Musk a few months ago that went terribly bad. But he is somewhat of an independent journalist at this time, and he's trying to make his way on social media. He walks around Central Park a lot and talks to people about the election. Well, he had a moment where Don Lemon, it wasn't quite sour. It was more sweet, and he got a little giddy. Let's listen to Don Lemon.
Some farmers say without these workers, they have about 2 days that they can run their farms. And then after that, it's over. Oh my gosh, I love this. Now you're finding out, you dumb fucking idiots. Now you're just figuring this shit out. You're so fucking stupid and you deserve it. You fucking deserve it because you're so dumb. It's hypocrisy. So go with me here. Yes, I am gloating over your stupidity and how you were taken. You have been co-opted because you're in a fucking cult and you don't even realize it because you have stupid MAGA brain.
I can't disagree with anything he said.
I was going to say, zero lies detected in anything you said there. But boy, I sure like the unfiltered Don Lemon. That's he's come a long ways from CNN trying to maintain professionalism.
Well, completely. Because you're right. He is a little bit more old school news guy where, he puts personality into it, but not like that. He's reading a script and he's looking at the camera. People were upset that Don Lemon went off on this way. Like, oh, you guys are, first of all, they were pissed at all the expletives. But second of all, they were pissed off like, you want this country to fail, blah, blah, blah.
Blah,
so
blah,
he,
blah.
Exactly.
Listen, first of all, I wish that's how he anchored the news. Just, tonight's new headline, you're all fucking idiots because you thought that this shit was going to work. Like, that's the kind of unfiltered news I think we actually need in America. But, the people upset. Gee, what political party might they be a part of?
Yes, right. He said it. You're in a cult. You got MAGA brain. But he did come out and make an official statement on what he was referring to and kind of, I guess he didn't back off it, but he explained it a little bit.
For all of you people who are upset about my salty language, for all of you people who are not understanding the context of what I was talking about, I'm talking about the racist people who are online talking, giving racist language and being bigoted about Indian Americans. Not all Trump supporters, but the folks with the MAGA brains who will do anything to make excuses for their bigotry and for whatever Donald Trump wants to do. So in the words of your dear leader, if you do not like what I said and you do not understand what I said, you can go yourself. Okay? Thank you very much. Make sure you get the quote and put it all out in the media, wherever you want to put it.
Yeah, well, we put it right here on the Vocal Minority. He basically said, I'm talking about, you guys want people deported, you're racist, dude. So to all you racist bastards out there, this is what I say to you. You F around and find out. We're about to find out. Farmer said 2 days?
Which 2 days? Is it like a Wednesday and a Thursday or something?
I don't know, but 2 days. They got 2 days, dude. If all those workers are deported, they got 2 days and they'll fail.
I don't even know how they would have 2 days, but okay. First of all, Don Lemon, don't dial it back, buddy, okay? You put yourself out there. Just stand by your obscenities and whatnot.
Agree.
And yeah, listen, I've been talking to farmers and they're saying this and that. Who knows, okay? Obviously, the amount they can output from a farm is going to go way down if they have less labor. I seriously doubt they wouldn't just have 2 days. They would just have much less product to put out on the market. fewer people to picket or whatever. But all of that will limit supplies. Prices will go up. Like, he's correct. It's fuck around and find out. And I refuse to be apologetic for the FAFO thing going on. It's not that we're cheering for the demise of America. It's that you put a drunk person behind the wheel, and we're going to call the cops and say he's going down the interstate right now. I'm watching him. Like, that's not, cheering for him to hit someone head on. It's pointing out the obvious. We have a maniac roaming down the streets, and he's going to kill somebody.
You're right, dude. I mean, you said it from the beginning. If Donald Trump does well, I will appreciate that. I'm never going to like the guy, but I'll be like, well, he did some good things. Like, I don't want the country to fail, but yeah, you put the drunk guy behind the wheel, and now he's going to drive. And we're telling you, like, he shouldn't be driving, but you didn't listen.
No, for sure. It's all about accountability. If Trump does something that we hold him accountable for in a positive way, then great. If he does save TikTok, listen, that benefits us, okay? So I will say, hey, good job. He's doing it for his own vanity and narcissism, but that's using that to our advantage. And people make money on TikTok, that'd be a fine thing. Or if he wants to end daylight savings time, I'll say, yeah, you're fine there. But I'm not going to say just because you did one thing right, I'm going to ignore all of the other stuff, the racism, the sexism, the deportations. It's not a tit for tat that, well, you saved TikTok, so I'm going to ignore the deportations.
Right.
Chew gum, okay?
Yeah, there were presidents of our time that served in office, and you could look at him and say, oh, Jimmy Carter just died. God rest his soul, 100 years old. Jimmy Carter, you can look at him and say, you know what? I like him as a person. I like where he stands with everyone wanting to be equal and peace and humanity and all that stuff. You can find none of that in this future administration. And I'm not going to talk about it, dude. You will forever be a piece of shit.
There's a level of sincerity that I'd like to think we'll maintain. I always used to say about Rush Limbaugh, he brought up, that the guy's full of shit. He's putting on a shtick because every opinion he has is on the right-wing side. There's never a centrist or anything that he would agree with liberals on. I always used to say, yeah, I'm a big liberal, but I'm pro-death penalty. I can point out something that I would agree with conservatives on. And if you look at Biden's 4 years and you can't find anything you like, you didn't like the CHIPS Act or the child tax credit, you didn't like none of it, huh? Not one thing. That's just being disingenuous. So I don't think Trump's going to have a long list of accomplishments that we're proud of, but
right.
Yeah, if he pulls one or two out, it's like if someone hits a home run, it's the bottom of the ninth, and they're down by 20 runs. You're not changing the game, but hey, you hit a home run. Nice job, buddy. Now, you still screwed the whole game up, but at least you got one home run in there,
Yes. I will vow to you, we will always hold people accountable, positive or negative, on this show, and we urge you to do the same.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Steve Harness.
All right, speaking of being disingenuous on the right, their opinions blow with the wind. And if Trump says, jump, they say how high. New poll just came out. It makes me sad. Republicans' trust in the accuracy of our elections. What do you know? It just skyrocketed after this election because they got their way. So now they believe in the, integrity of our elections.
Such bullshit, dude. Even Trump himself was notorious for saying, I'll trust the election if I win, I'll trust that. He said the quiet part out loud, and you all fell for it, and you're still showing the hypocrisy. Now the election's good?
Yep. So a majority now, Republicans say they are confident in the elections in our country, specifically the 2024. So before this last election, 2 out of 10 Republicans said that they had some either a great deal or quite a bit of confidence in our electoral process. It is now up to 6 and 10. That would be triple the amount of people just since the last election. And I keep seeing people online where I point out so now you believe in, this election was legitimate, huh? They're like, well, yeah, because you guys didn't rig this one. Where'd the 18 million votes go that you guys won by last time? And as we pointed out before, they went other places. They either stayed home or, they voted for Trump or they voted third party, whatever it is. We don't deny our elections in this country. So, and we also don't forget to rig them.
Right. If it's going to be rigged, it's going to be rigged, dude.
Exactly. So you're telling me we all found a way to rig the last election that was undetectable. You guys had 4 years to figure it out. No one figured it out. And then we just decided on this election to sleep in that day. Not going to rig it at all.
They knew Mike Lindell was getting close, dude.
Yeah, right. So there you go. Our Republicans, all of a sudden, they have faith in democracy again. And I want to laugh at it, but it really is pathetic. It's when you get what you want, you believe in it. And when anything pushes back, anything doesn't go your way, your snowflakey little whininess kicks into high gear, and all of a sudden everything's fake, everything's rigged, everyone's out to get me. This is what children do, okay?
That's a perfect definition, dude. I mean, I would be embarrassed of that. It'd be one thing if you came and you were like, I was so stupid to say that. And, I do believe in our elections. But to say, now I believe in them after your guy won, you should be embarrassed.
You should be. And again, the only way they can back out of that is to just put more lies on top of it. Well, that election was rigged, but this one's legitimate because we're missing 18 million votes. So that one was still rigged. Yeah, I wish we hadn't rigged it if that's what we did. You know what I mean? Like if Trump had won back to back, we would now be done with this shit. But
yes,
can't unring that bell. You can't unrig an election that was never rigged in the first fucking place.
It'd be sure nice to rig it, dude. If it were that easy, man, I don't know. I know that's bad to think that, but rig it. Do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically impossible, but if someone figures it out. And like I always wonder during the election, why are you even voting then? If we've rigged this thing, why? Why would you even show up and vote?
Yeah, you make a good point.
Because it's not fucking rigged, okay? We won the last one. We got our asses kicked this one. That's what an election is. You can't just mask millions of votes in this country. There's pretty easy ways once the election's over to audit these books and see oh, gee golly whiz, there's an extra 3 million votes from one state or whatever. So yeah. But now Republicans have faith in democracy until they lose the next election. Then it'll go right back down to 2 out of 10.
Right. Just keeps getting better and better.
Need to know news. News you need to know.
Welcome to the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Let's keep that theme going. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, just won. He's going to stick around, right? And it was kind of interesting because there were 2 Republicans holding out. He had a little conversation with them, and all of a sudden they changed their mind. So he got those 2 votes. But what was interesting and funny about this was Hakeem Jeffries was talking to everybody, and he had some funny things to say.
2 months ago, the American people elected Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States of America. Thank you for that very generous applause. It's okay. There are no election deniers on our side of the aisle. You see, one should love America. One should love America when you win and when you lose. That's the patriotic thing to do, and that's the America that House Democrats will fight hard to preserve because we love this country.
Right?
Yes. This is why we may be upset we lost the election, but none of us are running around with conspiracy theories because we are patriotic. We do value our electoral process, and we're smart enough to know that if we denounce it now, you can't then support it next time if it goes your way, as we just talked about. You look like fucking idiots and hypocrites.
It's like a marriage, dude. You take the good with the bad, but you still love. No one showed up to the Capitol today, recording day, with, hammers and mace and tried to break into the Capitol. No one did that, dude, because we love America. This is our system, and we will fight to preserve it.
Right. And did Kamala Harris try to not certify the election today? Trump said a vice president can do that. So why wouldn't she do that?
She was, she was swearing people in and congratulating them. And, I can't remember her first name, but Bacon is a Republican representative in Omaha, Nebraska.
Kevin. I think it's Kevin.
No, it's not Kevin. It's a woman. I think it's Deb Bacon. But anyway, she was being sworn in, and her spouse is up there with her. And Kamala shakes Deb Bacon or Mrs. Bacon's hand and says, good luck. Thank you for your work. And then turns to her spouse and puts her hand out, and he was like, congratulations. And he refuses to shake her hand.
Oh, please.
And making a point. It's like, you're so stupid, dude.
How embarrassing for you and anyone who would think that's a good move to do. Have some decorum, have some basic respect, or don't be a sore winner. You won. You shake the person's hand. You've been invited onto the floor of the House of Representatives, and you think you're going to make some little stance and stick it to this woman.
Yeah, and it just makes you look like an idiot, dude. And Kamala's response was hilarious because she was kind of like surprised, gave a surprised look and smiled, and she was like, okay. Don't be such an idiot, dude. We're hoping to get into making some good bipartisan things happen, and you're already setting the tone of like, screw you guys.
I hope she got on the radio and was like, Secret Service, he said he has an explosive device in his rectum. Will somebody please check that?
Be so great, dude. But we don't do things like that because, we do believe in a little decorum. Here's an interesting thing for you to listen to. Mike Johnson, have you heard? I have never heard like great or bad things about him. I mean, he kind of doesn't move the needle, in my opinion. Representative Burchett of Tennessee had this to say about Mike Johnson, and when he got done saying it, I thought to myself, like, wow, dude, low bar.
Mike's been a good friend of me, and there's nobody more honest that I've ever dealt with in Washington. I mean, he is a fine Christian man. He's not a religious man. He's a Christian man, and he doesn't cheat on his wife, and I find that very appealing in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
So you are not a fan of Trump, then, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
He's neither Christian, he's not faithful to his wife.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what the bar, like, he's best person I know. Doesn't cheat on his wife. I mean, come on. Isn't that something, dude? The bar is very low.
He doesn't beat his kids. I mean, what a great guy.
Right. Yes.
Oh.
And then there was another part of the speech that you heard that I did not hear. Do you have something to say about it?
No. I mean, first of all, I just want to applaud Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, he did a great job in that speech. He set them up so nicely in that clip you played where they all cheered. And then he's like, yeah, no, we're supportive of our elections. No election deniers over here. It reminds me of when Obama, he was giving an address and he said something about like, I have no more elections to run for. And all the GOP went crazy cheering. Yeah, you got no more elections. And then they faded down and Obama's like, yeah, because I won them all.
Right. Yes. That smack back, dude. Right. It's so nice to see you morons.
Oh, yes. Hakeem Jeffries did a great job. But no, moving on down the line with one of his clips. I don't know if it was a Freudian thing or what, but it's an interesting flub that he made.
Yes.
That makes the American dream possible. We will fight hard for the freedom to vote. We will fight hard for the freedom to vote. We will fight hard for the freedom to vote.
Wow.
I need that on a t-shirt now.
Yes, dude. That would be a great shirt. We will fart hard for the freedom to vote. I mean, harder than you've ever heard of Boomsta, dude. I will get down and fart hard.
Yes. No, that's a good one. And on one level, I feel like when somebody says something dumb and you're just like, yes. I feel like maybe he was being intentional with that. Like, yeah, we're going to fart hard. Like, we are just going to fart around for the next 4 years while we're waiting for our chance to do this again.
There's no way that was intentional, dude. We will fart hard. I mean, listen, when I was doing my first weather forecast at a big radio station, thank God it was on the overnight, but I was intending to say, I just peeked my head out the window and, stars are shining. I say, I just pooped out the window and I freeze, dude, because and it's not a Freudian slip. Like, I just got my words confused, and that's exactly what happened to him.
I'm sure. It's just funny that that's the word that came out. We're going to fart hard. I bet he was trying to hold one in at the time. That's what was going on. He was pinching.
Yeah, or he was trying to bond with Trump. Like, we'll fart so hard we shit our pants, dude. We
That's
will.
a fair point. They do support, real men that wear diapers and that fart and stink the whole freaking room up. So maybe it was a little secret shout out to Trump. I fart hard too, buddy.
Yes, fart hard, play hard.
Sometimes a little more comes out. Sometimes those farts get a little slippery on you. So.
A little shard hard. We will shard hard. We will fart hard.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
All right. I guess just to make me feel a little better, I'm going to continue my theme of GOP not getting what they want. These victories may be few and far between over the next 4 years.
Could be.
So this was a big deal heading into the new term here. Nancy Mace, who is a bit of a MILF, okay, if we're being honest with each other here.
Sure.
She's come around. Last time I brought this up, you farted hard all over my
I will fart hard, dude.
But Nancy Mace had fought hard to change the bathroom rules in the Capitol, that you could only pee in the gender you were assigned at birth or whatever, right?
Yes.
And this was all because we have, for the first time ever, a bona fide transgender representative, Sarah McBride, Democrat from Delaware. She won election. We've talked already about all the transmongering feardom. I don't know what any of that meant. We have talked several times about the fact that they're trying to fearmonger off transgender people, okay? I mean, it's a speck of a minority of our population, but they seem to feel that they're just predators and in every schoolhouse in America.
Meanwhile, they haven't said anything about the priests. They haven't said anything about the gym teachers and the gymnastics doctors. It's all about the transgender community.
I'd be willing to bet that Trump himself has assaulted more people than the entire transgender community ever has, but those are rough numbers. Either way, yes. Don't tell me you're against sexual predators while supporting people like Donald Trump or Pete Hegseth or Matt Gaetz or whatever it is. But,
completely.
So Nancy Mace made this big deal that they're going to change the rules in the House of Representatives. You got to pee, based on your biological gender. And it was something she fought very hard for. She was on Fox News, on OAN. All of her buddies in the GOP had her back. Yep, we're going to do this. We're going to put that in. Well, the GOP-controlled House approved its rules package this past week, including multiple things that reek to high heaven, provisions targeting transgender immigrant rights. But most notably, they left out Nancy Mace's rules about which bathroom to pee in.
I gotta go pee.
Well, now you can go in whatever bathroom you like, it sounds.
Exactly. Have at it. House Speaker Mike Johnson, who narrowly won his reelection to the chamber's top job, had reportedly assured Nancy Mace that her bathroom ban would be included in the package. So yet again, women, the GOP will use you for what they want to get your vote, but then they will leave you high and dry.
Wow. That is really something. I mean, promises made were not promises kept, and you were used as a pawn. And on one hand, I feel bad for you, but when it comes to, obviously, Nancy Mace, I do not feel bad for her, because what a bullshit thing to try and push through.
It was a dumb bully bullshit maneuver that was purely symbolic, obviously. And but they snubbed her in the end. And this was something they should have been able to easily unify around. So I don't know what the real reason why they left it out, because what do they care? They hate transgender. So I would think they would take any opportunity to smack him in the face. But no, they did it, and they stuck it to Mace at the same time. So
Johnson did not smack him in the face, dude.
Right.
Dick, I would change my name to Dick. Would you not, if your last name was Johnson?
Dick Johnson, yeah.
I mean, that'd be pretty good.
Good stuff right there.
Well, good.
Need to know news. News you need to know.
Let's talk a little bit about all the important stuff that Republicans are trying to get done right now, focusing their attention on important things in this world. Here's two men, George Santos and Matt Gaetz, having a really, really good discussion about how to better America.
What was going on with my makeup? Help me. Give me advice.
Matt Gaetz, let me tell you something. Highlighter is not
for you. Stop highlighting the center of your face. It makes your eye very small, and it gives you the glow, not the glow you think it gives you. But
I have deep-set eyes, George. How do I fix the deep-set eyes?
Look at the flawlessness in my skin. No highlighter needed. You're a Florida man. I'm in Florida right now. When you're tan and you're a Florida man, you don't need that level of highlighter. Here's my honest advice for you, Gates. Here's what you need to do, Matt. You need to go buy yourself Double Wear Foundation from Estee Lauder.
Oh my God, dude.
Oh my God. Who are these two little yentas yakking away?
What the fuck? I mean, this was being broadcast on live TV, dude. What kind of discussion is this? Like, you're getting paid.
Wow. I assume this was like, during commercial break or something. Is this on Gates's new OAN show?
I don't know if it was on OAN or if it was on Fox. I don't know. I don't.
Because Gates now has a new show on OAN, the even foxier Fox News, channel out there, the propaganda extraordinaire, who even after the congressional report came out that Matt Gaetz was in fact having sex with a minor, they didn't take his TV show away from him. They put him right out there. And yes, he looks like a scary transgender person who never was taught how to apply makeup. So I'm not surprised, I guess, that these two were sitting there yakking about that. But good grief, people. I mean, what? That is one of the most pro-gay transgender discussions I've ever heard. So why the GOP has to constantly admonish gay men and transgender when they're sitting here talking about their highlighters and makeup jobs? And of course, King Trump, the king of the spray tan and the weird hair and everything else.
Yes, dude. I mean, so much makeup that he says he smells like makeup and farts and ketchup, This is just hysterical to me on so many different levels, but you mentioned that, you would think that they wouldn't be homophobic people having these types of conversations, but it was almost like they were mocking, it's just, they're just trash bags, dude. But I think to myself, what are you doing for us? Voted in officials. What are you doing? I mean, I guess they're both of those guys are out right now.
Yes. So, I mean, George Santos, we know, has done drag before, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just don't then make it part of your platform to admonish these people.
Right.
And they had a tinge of joking, so they could maybe somehow get away with that, but they were not joking at all. They both are obsessed with their looks, their vanity, their makeup jobs. The fact that Santos knew a specific product to recommend, that's not ha-ha funny. It's like, I was having sex with a guy the other night, and when you deep throat, you really got to try to breathe through your nose so that you don't get... You're basing that on actual experience,
Right.
So he's not just making up makeup brands. He's well aware. And I don't know any makeup brands because I don't wear makeup.
This is the kind of trash that is hanging around Donald Trump and your now party. You know who Laura Loomer is?
Yes, ultra-conservative right-wing blogger who, during the election, is so crazy, Trump's own people had to say, you got to stop traveling around with her.
Yeah, because he did get really close to her. I mean, Laura Loomer, my wife was in the Army, and she used to always say, she was Army hot, right? Because, she's hot for the Army. Laura Loomer is one of those people that you think, I guess she's hot for a pig pen, or where she's at in the MAGA party. I guess she's hot.
I guess. I'm very generous with hot conservatives, and I don't consider her hot. So.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, some people might. But Laura Loomer is known for saying crazy shit. Trump had to kind of back off from her. She said something positive that I think, oh, wow, Laura Loomer, you do have some good thoughts inside your body, but she only did this for one reason, and it's because it affected her. I don't know if you saw the story, but Elon Musk kicked Laura Loomer off the X platform.
Yeah, after all of these right-wingers have been defending Musk, saying he doesn't censor on Twitter, he doesn't boycott any accounts, and all of us liberals have been saying for months now, it sure feels like our content's getting buried.
100%. We knew it was happening. Anytime Elon Musk doesn't like something, he will just ban an account or at least kick off the comment. So Laura Loomer was talking about people like Elon Musk and him himself, and this is kind of about the dangers of what you've voted in.
What is it going to mean for the future of our country, our national security, and the incoming Trump administration if we have a bunch of technocrats who are also essentially welfare queens because their companies are receiving government subsidies and they want to take over our defense industry. If you have a bunch of tech bros with billions of dollars and direct unfettered access to the vice president and the president of the United States, and then they are also, very cordial with our adversaries, as in China and Iran. We've seen that Elon Musk is having these meetings off the books with Iranian officials, with Chinese officials. What does that mean for us and the future of our constitutional republic?
Hang on.
Yeah, it's actually a really good question. This is all part of the F around and find out.
It's hilarious to me to watch this little civil war, the little schism happening, because they all ran on this anti-immigrant policy. Boo immigrants, boo immigrants. And now that the realities are settling in, where you got people like Musk going, well, hold on, some of the immigrants actually we do like and we do need, and we can underpay them, and we can work them 80 hours a week, not let them leave the office. Like, boy, that's really good for those of us that own major tech conglomerates. And yeah, to have the MAGAs be like, no, I thought we were anti-immigrants. Like, those jobs should go to Americans. No H-1B visas. And it's fucking hilarious to watch them all infight. And you'll notice, Trump for a few days there stayed silent. And then he came out and said that I'm in favor of the H-1B visas. I always have been, even though we have him on video saying that he was opposed to them. I used them because they're there, but they're terrible. Those jobs should be going to Americans. But no, Emperor Musk told you to step in line there, little Prince Trump. And he did. He jumped right in line. But there's a bunch of MAGA that are pissed off about it. And I don't blame them. You're being very inconsistent. Do we want immigrants or not? Or are they just afraid to say we don't want the poor ones? We just want the good ones,
When you start to see Elon Musk making some decisions that you don't like or that you don't agree with, and then think about the fact that he sat down and had a conversation with Netanyahu and said, like, you can't be the president. He was like, not officially. Like, he's got power. I mean, some people are saying that he is president, and it's Vice President Trump.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, he bought himself a presidency, and he saw how well it worked. I mean, I don't know if you've seen all the stories, but Musk is now tampering in other governments around the world.
Yeah.
Germany. He said today that we should free Great Britain or free England from the, travesties and everything going on over there. Like, they, again, are talking about redrawing the map, and he is now interfering in other, governments all over the world. He thinks he is a kingmaker because we've given him that power. And people, stop buying the cars. Stop supporting this maniac. The reason his value has gone up so much since the election is so many people are investing in his companies, buying his stocks, because they see the reality. He's our new leader. He bought himself an administration, and now he's trying to do it globally.
And people like Laura Loomer, who are hardcore MAGA, are looking at it and thinking, like, what did we get ourselves into here? Like, this could be really dangerous World War III type stuff, So, it's, I suppose, even before he's in office, that it's nice to see that people are at least being like, oh no, what have we done?
And we're just getting started. It's Frankenstein's monster. I mean, he created the monster. The doctor was Frankenstein. The monster was whatever. But you know my point. Like, careful what you wish for, careful what you create. And to see Musk banning them on Twitter is hilarious.
Yes.
And now they're all like, hey, wait a minute. Because I had multiple arguments during the election with people defending Elon Musk that, no, he doesn't ban anyone. He's a bastion of free speech there on Twitter. And I kept pointing out all of these liberals that had been banned, media outlets and, talking heads like us. And they denied it left and right. So to see a Laura Loomer come out and be like, hey, wait a minute, he banned me. How dare he? Like, yeah, fuck around and find out.
Yes, here it comes.
This is the only news you need to know. After all, this is Need to Know News. News you need to know. Enough said.
Indeed. So much news to get to. Let's just see what we can do here. First of all, I feel the need to follow up on this just because we talked about it so much. And that's the fact that, Trump got convicted on those 34 felony counts of what was really election interference. I know it's the quote-unquote hush money case. He was paying the hush money to keep the fact that he was banging a porn star from making news so he could win an election he was about to win. So really, it's an election interference case. And I was pissed at Judge Juan Merchan that he didn't announce the sentencing before the election. And Merchan said, I can't interfere with all of this, so I'm going to wait till after the election, and then I'll announce the sentencing. And, of course, then we elected King Trump, and now there will be no accountability. So Judge Merchan, in theory, this week on the 10th, is going to announce the sentencing now, finally, for these 34 convictions. Trump's lawyers are fighting tooth and nail right now to not let that happen. Because all that is really going to come out of this is an embarrassment for Trump. He will officially be a convicted felon once this sentence is announced.
Yes. And that has a lot of people wondering, like, how can you be president? Well, there was never anything put in the Constitution about not being able to be a felon and be president, only that you can't vote if you're a felon.
Right. The founding fathers just assumed we would never vote for somebody who even had the whiff of being a convicted felon.
Right.
I mean, McDonald's may not even hire you if you're a convicted felon. I mean, but here's the thing that really irritates me even more is that the judge has already announced that I'm not going to incarcerate him. And the quote here that really stood out to me is that he said that the people concede that they can no longer consider recommending incarceration. No longer.
So that they would have.
If you're saying I can no longer do something, that means you were doing it.
Yes.
So obviously he was going to incarcerate Trump. He was going to send him to jail. That's why he didn't announce it before the election. Because if he was just going to give him a slap on the wrist, he would have said that before the election and just been done and over. But he knew he was going to sentence him to prison and that could affect the election, which it should have. That's information we all should have had. So yeah. Trump's going to get some slap on the wrist. It'll be embarrassing for him, which I find funny, and he will officially now be a convicted felon. But no, he will no longer be able to be incarcerated because, you can't incarcerate a guy that's going to be the president. But I mean, I'll take the embarrassment.
You think he'll actually be embarrassed? I mean, the last time he's pulled all this embarrassing shit, the mug shot into T-shirts and hoorah, martyr, will it be embarrassing?
Yeah, I mean, all of that stuff was compensating. Of course it's embarrassing. He may try to spin it, and of course he will say it's, the corrupt system, blah, 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 blah. But no, of course it's an embarrassment. Otherwise, he wouldn't have his lawyers out there this week doing everything they can to stop this.
Yeah, no, you're right. And so far they've been unsuccessful from what I've seen.
Yes, I did read just before we got on air that they filed another round of briefs or whatever, trying to claim that while the Supreme Court's considering it, we can't now, blah, blah, blah. They know it'll be embarrassing, so they want to stop it. But it's still, like, it may be a ha-ha funny to laugh at him, but it is still just a glowing symbol of the fact that we just elected a king, that there's no accountability. He would have been going to prison, but now he can't because for some reason we all voted him into office. So embarrassing, yes, but still zero accountability. And it's really more embarrassing for America that this is what we've just done. Let this guy off scot-free.
Yeah. No, you're completely right. It is embarrassing for America. You know how, like, when somebody is charged with domestic violence, like, sometimes they'll say, like, you have to go to classes to learn how to not be a bastard. Why doesn't he just give them some classes on how not to be racist, how not to be homophobic? I mean, he could embarrass them. You have community service of picking up trash on the side of the Jersey Turnpike, that type of shit.
That would be hilarious. And at least there would be some consistency then there in our justice system. Like, all right, you're not going to jail, but you got to go read to little kids and pick up garbage and do some community service. But but no, that won't happen. Kings don't get that sort of treatment, Nick.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Oh, King Trump, he approves, dude.
Exactly.
Can I just tell you before we leave, this is very quick. I want to say this is real interesting to hear about Justin Trudeau.
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Is Trump responsible for taking down Justin Trudeau?
I mean, I don't know if it's directly, but there is the winds of change happening in a lot of countries where the conservative parties seem to be taking over. So it seems to be part of that wave going on. I don't think he's directly responsible by any means, but
I think he really riled up the boiling pot, though, when, he said, we will tariff you, and kind of threw his weight around, and then Trudeau responded, and his country didn't like his response. I mean, the majority anyway.
If I was Trudeau, I would just be bowing out while I'm young and handsome and wealthy and just I don't need this job anymore, people. You want me to go deal with that orange orangutan down south now? I'm done.
You're right. That's exactly how I would feel, too. I mean, he served well, so Canada will say goodbye to Justin Trudeau. It sounds like he'll step aside.
Yes, he'll always be the most dreamy world leader in my eyes.
Yeah, every guy has had to hear his wife say, Justin Trudeau is so dreamy.
Have you seen the side-by-side pictures of Justin Trudeau and Barron Trump?
No.
They sort of look alike. And there's this joke, I'm sure, this is why Trump hates Trudeau in Canada, because Trudeau banged Melania.
Yeah, he really gave it to her.
Right.
That's funny. Well, dude, we covered some good news today. We thank you for joining the podcast, The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. That's our name.
Yeah, that's us. We got a website, thevocalminority.net. Social medias, though, that's the fun. TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, those are the big ones. And then the other ones besides Twitter.
And you can see us there before we see you, or you can hear us again.
This concludes another episode of The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. The boys give you 2 podcasts each and every week. Thanks for being part of the solution and for listening to The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Until next time.